Church. I'm Orville Stanton, and I'm overseeing the Caring Ministries. It's my blessing to share today's Hope Devotion with you out of Isaiah chapter 2. In chapter 2, Isaiah gives us a recipe for peace. I know very little about recipes because my wife is the cook in our family, and I am the eater and the cleaner. She has lots of cookbooks with great ideas of different things to make. One of the first things I have noticed about recipes is no matter how great the end product looks, you need to follow all the directions to come up with the best results. No good results come when you just do some and not all the instructions. The whole Bible is like that. It is the recipe for how to have the best life ever. The book of Isaiah is like a miniature Bible. The first 39 chapters, like the 39 books of the Old Testament, are filled with judgments and failures and lessons. But the final 27 chapters, like the 27 books of the New Testament, declare a message of hope. In chapter 1, the great prophet Isaiah has brought a case against Judah, showing their sin and rebellion against God. He promises restoration to the penitent, but judgment to the rebels. In chapter 2, Isaiah presents Christ the Messiah as a ruling king from Jerusalem, bringing peace but judging the wicked. Like with my wife's recipes, you can't forget how the picture looks when you are trying to make something. Then read and follow. Sometimes it gets messy in the kitchen as the work gets done. In chapter 2, verses 1 through 4, we have a recipe for peace. But the most important thing is to keep your eyes on what the final product looks like so you don't start working on the wrong thing. This picture is seen in Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3. Come, let us come up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways so that we may walk in his paths. The steps for peace in my life are first, come. In other words, come to Jesus. Keep your eyes on him, for he is the mountain talked about in Daniel chapter 2, verse 35, that filled the whole earth. And he is the temple of God, spoken of in John 2:2, that will be raised up in 3 days. When you see your image in the mirror, look a little closer until you see Jesus' image in there. For the Holy Spirit is changing you, even today, to be more like him. Keep your eyes on what God is doing, because he's making a masterpiece out of you. This is the end of the recipe. Then be taught. Stay teachable. Don't be a loner. Put yourself in places where you can let the Lord teach you. This can be your morning devotions, Bible study with others, and home group going over Sunday messages. This will let God pour into you the different ingredients of the spiritual life. So don't cut him short. Let him stir it in so it'll become part of you. Walk in his paths. This is getting in the oven, going where the heat of God's passion is for mankind. To share his love for the world seen in Jesus Christ, whom we give to, we should be saved and none be lost. As we learn to get over our fears and share and let God do the rest, we find peace in the process. The results of making this recipe for peace is seen in Isaiah 2:4. He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. Peace with God. By settling the issue of my sin and its judgment through Jesus, Christ's death on the cross for me, the judge is satisfied. I am free to live in peace. And in peace with others. I have changed, and now I am learning how to treat others, so that peace will come through change in my heart and my habits. Beating their swords into plowshares, bringing peace by changing the angry words that I use that can be like swords that cut and separate us from one another, to words of love that break up hearts that have been hardened to ones that can bring the fruit of the Spirit, bringing in a harvest of peace. The spears and the pruning hooks bring peace by using words that promote growth, not using words that stick it to others. Thanks for spending time with me today. Remember the recipe. Keep your eyes on the end result. Become like Jesus. Come to him, be taught, and walk in his path. You will live out the results by experiencing peace in your world. Happy baking. Hope to see you during the week and on the weekend. God bless you all.